I, for one, was confused last year when Roland announced the TR-6S and the boutique TR-06, both paying tribute to the TR-606. In this video, we're going to discuss the TR-6S's relationship to Roland's classic drum heritage and the TR-606. Stay with us. Hi, I'm Zach Marr from Alamo Music here in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications. This is our Alamo Sound Lab channel where we talk about all things music tech related. And today we're looking at the Roland TR-6S. And when the Roland TR-6S came out last year, I was confused because they released it at the same time as the boutique TR-06, which is the ACB recreation of the classic TR-606, and I was kind of trying to figure out what the difference between the 06 and the 6S were. And I've come to this conclusion. I hope it's helpful for those out there looking these up and trying to make their way through it. The TR-6S and the TR-06 are both pay tribute to the 606. One is more of a macro tribute, where the 06 is more of a kind of micro, in-depth tribute. So the 06S is not just a ACB 606. It's also ACB 808, 909. It's got FM drums in it and also allows you to import samples of all sorts of things and create your own mix and match drum kits. So the 6S is really only related to the 606 in that it contains the 606 ACB kit in it, and it also is small form factor, kind of a condensed down little brother to the TR-8S, which with the 8 in the kind of model number, it's got an association with the 808, but the 8S also contains ACB modeling of all of Roland's classic analog drum kits, as well as FM drum kits and, again, samples. So the 6S is really a macro kind of overview of everything that Roland is known for in drums. And it uses some of Roland's most powerful modeling technology, the analog circuit behavior. I've said ACB a few times, and I should explain what that is, but that, for those of you that don't know, it's Roland's incredibly detailed modeling where it's looking at the actual behavior and idiosyncrasies of the circuits inside these classic analog machines and modeling that into these drum machines. And it sounds really nice, and it's very detailed modeling. But this has more than just the classic 808, 909, 606s. It has the 626, the 707. It's got pretty much all of the classic Roland drum machines, as well as modern samples and FM tones. It's a really powerful unit that allows you to get really creative and expressive. The differences between the 8S and the 6S are there's less voices that you use at the same time. I think this has 6, whereas the 8S has 11. And it doesn't have touch-sensitive pads, so you can't get quite as expressive with your programming. They both, I believe, have the same kind of effects built in and a lot of the same features outside of those kind of minor differences. So it's really just a more affordable, more condensed form factor version of the 8S. I'm sure there's a few other differences, but that's the best way to understand it. And its relationship, again, to the 606, it's not made to be an incredibly detailed and customizable recreation of the 606. It has that ability to some extent, but the TR-06, which we're going to do in a video on as well, is really more all about the 606 and all the modification and variations and kind of lovely parts of that original interface. This is a different interface altogether, much more in the kind of modern era of Roland drum machines in terms of an interface. Also great fun to play with. Also has lots of modern kind of drum machine features like flam and probability. So you can do a lot with it. Let's take a listen and we'll conclude with some final thoughts about what this is good for and who really should be looking at this. Let's listen. So there you have it. I didn't go super deep into the features. There's a lot of great videos that are tutorials, kind of deeper dives into this specific unit. But I wanted to make this video because I feel like the market doesn't really I think the label of TR-6S confused a lot of people, especially when it was coincided with the TR-06. And the 606 is not necessarily the most sought after vintage drum machine. And so I think that actually dings both of these products for how powerful they are and how wonderful they sound. I see a lot of kind of questions out there about, is this, what is this exactly? And so I hope this video was helpful. I think it's a great, if you're limited in your studio space, this is a great option. If you're limited in budget, another great option, incredibly powerful. You get a lot of sound and power out of it. It does have some menu diving in it because it takes some of the knobs away that you get in the TR-8S. So if that's an issue, you should look at the 8S. But it's incredibly simple and easy to use and inspiring to play with, and less is more. Sometimes I think constraint breeds creativity. So I think the controls you have and the way it functions is very pleasant and it's not overwhelming. So I think it's a great entry-level drum kit that gives you a huge palette of tones. And it is digital. So one thing to say about that, if you use a lot of VSTs, if you use a lot of kind of digital synths, I personally like to use digital drum machines with digital synths, even if their VSTs are kind of analog modeling, high resolution analog modeling. I just think they play nicer together in a mix, but that's just me. So that's my thoughts on the TR-6S. Would love to hear your thoughts. Do you own one? What do you think about them? Where do you see them in the market? If I left something out, please leave it below. Again, thanks for watching. If you haven't already hit the subscribe button, turn your notifications. I'd appreciate it. And until next time.